I recorded this whole video on mute. I spent a whole 10 minutes doing this. Now I'm going to do it again. Okay. I just had to get on here and talk to you about Red One. For many, many years, I have had a cluster of movies that I will watch every year around the Christmas holiday season. And usually I stick to things like White Christmas, The Grinch, Garfield's Christmas, stuff that my family has inside jokes about. That's the type of stuff that we watch every single year. I'm also extremely picky with my Christmas songs. I only like Christmas songs from like the 1940s through the 1960s. I don't like anything modern when it comes to Christmas. I'm really kind of picky. And I'm more of a traditionalist, and I like to stick to, old cool things that have an actual basis in world culture and different ways that different cultures celebrate Christmas. Usually the type of movies that my mom likes to watch around Christmas, my mom's visiting, she likes to watch movies that make me want to die. They are about women who make $500,000 a year, like, creating greeting cards. They break up with their old child sweetheart or their current fiance, and then they get together with their other sweetheart, and they're drinking hot cocoa in the snow and listening to bands in the street. I just can't. Last night, my mom's like, hey, let's watch that Red One movie. Let's watch that. It's got The Rock, and it's got that guy with the mustache that I like. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. It's got that guy with the mustache that I like. What she means is J.K. Simmons. That's what she means. I'm like, hey, if J.K. Simmons is playing Santa Claus, I will give it a try. I have rock fatigue, so I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. Then I was like, well, Chris Evans, I do like Chris Evans. If you've seen him do anything other than Captain America, he's actually really good. So I'm like, okay. And then I said, Lucy Liu, girl, I'm turning this thing on. I was not prepared for how funny and cute this movie was. I have to give credit to the people who wrote the screenplay, because the screenplay was just a knockout of the park. I have not heard a screenplay like this in probably almost a decade. Like, and I know, and we both know, and the American people know, the people at home know it. Everybody knows that the screenplays have just been ridiculous for the past 10 years. This screenplay came completely out of left field and totally knocked my socks off. The writers are Chris Morgan and Hiram Garcia. I gotta tell you, I laughed genuinely really hard several times. It is hard to make me genuinely laugh. I'll chuckle, I'll give a little pity laugh, but no, this made me actually laugh. I thought it was so cute and so well executed. This movie is about Santa Claus being actually real. And if you love lore, and specifically if you love folklore, like I love folklore, I'm really into the Grimm's tales. I'm really into folklore of different countries, all kinds of different eras, world cultures. I love to know what their lore is. So specifically when we get around a mystical, magical time, and we're talking about mystical, magical creatures like witches and sorcerers, I am super excited to see them actually get into the lore. This movie has a lore around Santa Claus. It brings in other winter spirits. It treats them as if they are real, not as if they are real people, but it treats them as real mythical characters, and it sticks to its own lore. I cannot tell you how happy that makes me. They just kept going and going. I'm like, they have a lore and they're sticking to it. Like, that's all we want you to do, Star Wars. That is all we want you to do. Just have your own lore and stick to your own lore. And they did. And it was fun. And it was delightful. And you got to see Krampus. I don't know if that spoils it for you, but you get to see Krampus. I mean, how many times do you get to see Krampus in anything under an R rating? I was so ecstatic to see Krampus. The makeup was amazing. It was really, really good. The CGI was fantastic. All of the performances were great. Everybody, extras, unknowns, all of these people showed up to work. When it comes to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, getting him to deliver a good performance, I think, is partially up to the director, but also it has to do with who you put him with and what screenplay you put him with and what character you give him to play. And I think in this one, it fit him really well. Of course, he was playing a bodyguard because Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and was very earnest and very serious about what he did. And I know that The Rock will, a lot of times in recent years, he'll have these, hey, here, that kind of character. He's gotten into these silly characters who are, just big silly men. And I can only roll with that for so long. So it was really nice watching him play the straight man and to have him be the serious one and the very excessively earnest character. And I think that was balanced out perfectly by J.K. Simmons as Santa. By the way, J.K. Simmons is Santa, okay? He was not fat Santa. We got fit Santa. Santa got a handle on his diabetes. He still eats cookies, but he only eats cookies because he burns a lot of calories on Christmas Eve. He's fit. He lifts, he does like 500 push-ups at a time. There are little golden gems inside of this screenplay that just had me just delighted and smiling and laughing out loud at the randomest things. I cannot recommend Red One enough. Speaking of earnest characters, very earnest, good-hearted characters who are very, very good, and that is all they are. They are just good. Captain America. So Chris Evans has been doing Captain America for a long time. He has been doing some other stuff like Snowpiercer and other things that are very interesting and very harrowing, and he has range. So I'm sure that if you like Chris Evans, you've been watching some of his other stuff, but this one was so delightful because he's just totally a bad guy and he knows it. And he literally steals candy from a baby. It's so good. They don't put a pin in anything. Nothing is on the nose. They just drop all of these cute little things along and you're like, this is so great. They just drop all of these gorgeous little details in there that by the end of the movie, I was like, I have to go back and watch these. What most people don't really understand about Chris Evans is that he is masterful at delivering comedic dialogue. He is so funny. His timing is impeccable. He's wonderful at it. I mean, if you saw the end of Deadpool, the most recent Deadpool, you would know Chris Evans knows how to deliver a line. It's even more fun because it's Chris Evans and he's been doing Captain America for so long. You're like, Captain America just said that, it's so great. He's so irreverent. He's wonderful in this movie. And his character is kind of the main character. And he's the one who has that, big internal change where he reconciles with his kid after being a deadbeat dad. And with that particular arc, I think there is a bit of a strain there. I think they really kind of shoved it in there, but they made it work. They made it work. And I'm like, I'm like the meme in the back, like, I'll allow it. I thought it was great. It got my mom to laugh. She liked the snowmen. I thought that was funny. If you're looking for a new Christmas movie to watch along with all of the other traditional Christmas movies you've been watching, this is a new release. I think it's an instant classic. I think it goes right up there next to Elf. I really highly recommend it. And I just wanted to get on here and tell you guys because I was totally surprised. It is on my yearly list now to watch of Christmas movies, and I love Red One. See you next time.